Yo, what's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green, and it is not Victory Monday. It is Doomsday Monday yet again for Big Blue, a day and a feeling that we are all too familiar and comfortable with. We got a lot to talk about on today's show. We've already put out 2 videos on the channel this morning. We recently just put out a video talking about Shane Bowen being retained by the New York Giants. We put out a video this morning essentially recapping every single major play of the game yesterday and trying to put some color into the picture of how the New York Giants lost that ball game. On today's show, we will do a mailbag where we just want to get the pulse from all of the real ones out there. And then we got a surprise segment coming up at the end of today's show. Shout out to everybody in the building. Look, it's easy to quit when you're 2-5. It's not as fun to watch Giants content when you're 2-5. But if you still bleed Giants blue, you still love New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, give me a real one down below in the comment section, and I will give a shout out to every single person that does, because I appreciate every single person that clicks on this channel, watches this content, and keeps us rolling. So thank you to every single person in here. CTM, what up? Michael Elliott, Nick, what's happening? Greg Congdon, let's go Giants. Orexa, Witherman, Tiger Metal, Stack, Austin Bloss, Mr. Limited, Hunter Stagg, Jerry, MB Goblin, Witherman, Tank Budweiser, D-Town, Jedi, Falcon, B. Ramsey, Ed, what up, Greg Congdon, Yo-Yo, Jedi, Nick Casano, my man Corey Hurd in the building, We the Plug, what's good, my man, Ed, the Contractor, Bort, Tiger Metal Stack, Joshua Rivas. Appreciate everybody for being here today. You guys are the best. Bam Bam, what's happening? Semper Fi, Benjamin Falak, what's happening, man? You guys are awesome. Best Buds in the building. What's happening, man? Shout out to y'all. Man, I couldn't go to bed last night. What up, AC?
What's going on? If you're here today, it's easy to be here on Victory Monday, but if you're here today, you're ready to get down into the nitty-gritty and talk about that excruciating loss yesterday, you're an absolute real one. It's easy to show up when things are going well. It's not hard. It's not easy to show up when things are going bad, so we appreciate all of you guys and all the real ones hanging out with us here on a Monday afternoon.
Let's go, let's go. Appreciate everybody for being in the building. If you haven't yet, smack that thumbs up icon for me. Let's let YouTube know that we are live and direct here on the channel. When you're here, comment real one and hit that thumbs up icon. I appreciate everybody for being here. CTM, how we doing? Orex at 2-5. Are we sellers at the deadline? What are we selling? Who are we selling? I'm curious. Who do you guys think we would sell? What up, Patchu? What up, Jason? Joseph says, I like Dable for the sole reason of Jaxson Dart, but Joe and Shane gots to go. Please, maybe Kafka, undecided on that. What are your views?
That's an interesting just debate is like how much, like what percentage of responsibility for the improvement in offense like goes to Brian Dable, goes to Mike Kafka. Like we know Mike Kafka is obviously the offensive coordinator and he's calling the plays, but Brian Dable has a heavy hand, I think, in what they're doing on offense as well.
Yeah, I don't really think it's fair, and I know that it hasn't really been that way all that much recently. I don't think it's fair to say any ill words about the Giants' offense yesterday. You put up 32 points against the best team in the National Football League on that side of the ball, and you gave your defense a lead with 33 seconds to go. Yesterday was about the defense. Yesterday was about the defensive coordinator. Yesterday was about the kicker. And yesterday was about the people that put the kicker in position to miss those kicks. That's kind of where I'm at on that. 155 people in the building. Hit that thumbs up icon for me. Let's get up to 100 likes. Would really, really appreciate it. Once you have liked the video, type me so I know who the real ones are when I look at the chat. Let's go Giants coming in with the first super chat of the day. We appreciate you, my man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. You always do, and you always show a lot of love. Thank you. Says, I'm just so, is there any chance? I'm just saying, is there any chance of playoffs or no? Look, it's going to be hard to make the playoffs at this point. You're 2-5. Probably got to get to 9 wins to make the playoffs. So you'd have to go 7-4 over your next 11. Not impossible by any means, but you still have one of the toughest schedules in the National Football League. Still got to play the Eagles one more time. Still got to play the Commanders one more time. You still have to play the Lions. Still got to play the Packers. Still got to play the Bears. Still got to play the Niners. That's 6 tough games right there. Still got to play the Patriots. That's 7 games. That's extremely tough. And you haven't beat the Cowboys in 25 years. So.
There are no easy games on the Giants' schedule coming up. There's a reason it was ranked the toughest one in the NFL coming in.
You got the Raiders. That's about it.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. And people probably looked at the Saints as a game that, the Giants should and could win, and look what happened there. So every Sunday you got to show up. Doesn't matter.
Look, I'm not going to say at this point playoffs are out of the question. I think it's more likely they miss the playoffs. But, man, imagine if you had a defensive coordinator who could win the game when there was under a minute to go and the other team had to drive down the field to score, and you got those stops. You'd be 4-3 right now. Like, legitimately, you were 4-3. And I'm not asking for, like, a whole game to go your way. I'm asking for 30 seconds and 12 seconds to go your way. Again, players have not played well enough and did not make the necessary plays down the stretch to win those ball games. But it comes back to it's hard to cook gourmet pasta when I'm giving Andrew Connell ramen to work with, right? I mean, you can do the best you can. You can make the most out of what you got. You can turn lemons into lemonade, but it's a National fucking Football League. Let's get a defensive coordinator in there who knows how to win games. Giants did not do that today. They had an easy opportunity to move on. There would be no bad PR if the Giants moved on from Shane Bowen today. And we didn't talk about it in the video. And one thing I've kind of been sitting on and just thinking about is this going to be a negotiation standpoint from Brian Daboll at the end of the year saying, we would have won all these more games if we had a good defensive coordinator. I should keep my job. I should be able to get a new DC. Let me do that this offseason and give me another year as the head coach. I don't think he needs that. I think he's already got his job. He's got Jaxson Dart looking like the best player coming out of the draft last year, like a franchise quarterback. So make the moves now to help this team win now, which is blast Shane Bowen to the moon and go get somebody in there that knows what they're doing. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it like that. When we talked about whether or not Dart would play a few weeks ago, was Brian Daboll's last card to play. Well, now he has the Shane Bowen card potentially. I mean, listen, like I don't know. I think like if he wanted him fired, like he still could want him fired, but it may not be in his hands. It may be in Joe Shane's hands, and they don't want to make that change mid-season, or they don't think that someone else is going to be able to do a better job, or they don't have a guy in their building they want to give the job to. I don't know. It's a little head scratching when you sit down and think about it. But Drips talking right about that says Daboll doesn't want to win. No changes will be made.
Yep, said no changes will be made to the coaching staff. I really wonder if that is a Brian Daboll decision, if that is a Joe Shane decision, or is that is that ownership saying we're not allowing you to make staff changes? This is the staff that you had going into the year. This is the staff you're going to finish with. Because I think Brian Daboll is smart enough to know that Shane Bowen is not a good defensive coordinator. He's not going to solve the New York Giants' problems. So why not make a change?
Yeah. What more do you need to see from Shane Bowen?
Like, you got to lose another game like that?
Yeah. Do you think he's going to magically figure it out now? I don't know.
Man.
Anthony Cordero has an idea. He says, can we bring back Wink Martindale, please?
Why? Wink Martindale sucks. Wink Martindale can't get the job done at Michigan. Wink Martindale is not in the NFL 2 years in a row. If Wink Martindale was a good defensive coordinator, he'd be in the NFL. Did we forget the game where they almost put up 50, the Dallas Cowboys on the New York Giants? Did we forget about that one?
His style of play is high risk, high reward. It looks great when it works, and it looks terrible when it doesn't work. And you could say that about a lot of things, but when you're aggressive like that and you get beat.
Just because Wink Martindale blitzed, that doesn't mean he's a good defensive coordinator. Wink Martindale was a horrible defensive coordinator down the stretch. He was good in 2022. He also had a loaded defense. Defense was loaded. Like, really loaded. Please don't do the Wink Martindale stuff. Just go back and look at the numbers. Go back and watch the highlights. I don't understand the Wink Martindale stuff. I don't. He can't scheme up defenses in college to consistently confuse opposing quarterbacks. Go listen to how Michigan Twitter talks about Wink Martindale. Hire Pierce? Why would we hire Antonio Pierce? With all due respect to you, Kevin. Why would we hire Antonio Pierce? When has Antonio Pierce ever been a defensive coordinator? Antonio Pierce was the most immature coach in the National Football League last year. In the history of the NFL, he's one of the most underqualified NFL coaches. Never head coach in college. Became the Raiders head coach because he yelled Raiders, wore black Air Forces, and said he was born to be a Raider and was from Oakland. Antonio Pierce is not an NFL coach. I don't want a name. You know who I want as defensive coordinator? Someone I've never, ever heard of.
Yeah.
Because they're getting the job based off of what they're able to do, not because of who they are. I don't want John Gruden. I don't want Antonio Pierce. I don't want Wink Martindale. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I love Antonio Pierce. One of the best tackles I've ever seen against the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs. He's a Giants legend. He's not an NFL coach. Not an NFL coach. He's just not.
I think he's not currently working.
Oh, so we want to hire another guy that's not employed by the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, if he was that good, like he would have, I mean, maybe it's by choice, I don't know. But he would have, if he was, he'd either have a position coach job or a coordinator job right now.
I mean, we can talk about defensive coordinator candidates. Once the Giants fire Shane Bowen, there was a loaded defensive coordinator crop this offseason. Look what Dennis Allen is doing for the Chicago Bears. Look what all these head coaches that were fired are doing on defense now. You had your chances. You rolled it back with Shane Bowen, and now you're paying the price. But we all knew that last year. We all knew the Giants should have fired Shane Bowen after year one. Fortunately, the people that run this team, they don't really know that. Michael Pinto, my man, coming in with a $50 super chat. What's up, Beast? We appreciate you, man. Says, I don't like to blame kickers for losses, but leaving potentially 9 points on the board is crazy. 2 missed PATs, a 2-point try that shouldn't have to be attempted, 3 points. Putting twice from the other team's 40-yard line is just not acceptable. Cut Jude McCatnamy. And I've watched every piece of Giants content that's come out. Every single place says his name differently, and I think that all it really says about who he is as a player. And this is, again, it's not Jude's fault. If Andrew Connell was promoted to go be the Giants kicker tomorrow, it wouldn't be his fault. He's not qualified. Get someone in there that's qualified. I'm not qualified. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, he's not gonna. When you tell him to go out there and kick, he's not gonna go out there and not kick. Like he's been dying for and wanting this opportunity. I'm sure he's doing his best. Whatever his, I'm not a kicking technique critic, so I don't know if he's doing something technically wrong or it's in his head or whatever. But the bottom line is he can't make kicks. It's not like they're asking him to make 60-yarders. They're extra points. 3 extra points he missed.
Michael, we appreciate the $50 super chat, my man. Thank you for supporting this channel. And you're 100% right, my man. I tried to say it in the video this morning, long video. Appreciate everybody that watched all of that. But you're playing with a hand behind your back when you have to kick from the 41-yard line, or when you have to punt from the 41-yard line. You have to punt from the 42-yard line. We're in the day and age where you're allowed to doctor footballs and kicking footballs now. And the kicker and the way teams are using the kicker has changed the game for people. And the Giants don't even trust their guy to attempt a 50-yarder. So not only do you not have a guy that gives you an advantage on kicking field goals, you have a guy that can't even make PATs. That's not his fault. That's Joe Shane's fault. It's Brian Dable's fault. Whoever thought it was a good idea to roll with Jude McAdamy, it's your fault. But it goes back to the offseason, Andrew Connell, where we talk time and time and time again. You're low on cap space. You have an old kicker. $5 million cap hit. Injury prone. Unreliable. It was so easy to cut him, save the money, sign someone else, or draft someone in the 7th round. But you use the pick on Corey Black, who's not even on your fucking team anymore.
Yeah. It's a head scratcher, that's for sure. And they're paying for it now.
They don't do the little things. And when you don't do a lot of little things, they stack up to become big things. And you lose football games because of little things. You lost week 2. You lost last night. You lost the Jets game 2 years ago. You lost 2 more other games because of Graham Gano. You lost the Commanders game last year because of Graham Gano. Like, at some point, you shouldn't have to be learning on the job every time you make a mistake. Like, it's year 4 for Joe Shane, and he still can't figure out the kicker.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know, maybe he did, like, ace all their tests in practice, but, like, maybe they're not putting him in stressful enough situations in practice, simulating game. Like, and obviously you can't simulate, like, a game-winning kick, but it's extra points. Like, if you can't, I don't know.
It's the guy that didn't even get the starting job at Rutgers. If you can't start at Rutgers, how are you the starting kicker for the New York Giants? How? Say that out loud. Imagine this.
The backup kicker.
We have a quarterback that couldn't start at Rutgers but starts for the New York Giants. That doesn't make any sense, and it wouldn't make sense for any other position. They have completely botched the kicker for 3 years in a row. 3 years in a row. Michael, you are 100%. And we talked about it this morning. I don't remember if it was in the video. I was just talking to Andrew before we filmed. I didn't make a big deal of it in the game. And this isn't to say, like, oh, since I didn't make a big deal of it, it's not a thing. No, it doesn't matter. Brian Dable's the head coach. Brian Dable gets paid millions of dollars to know these things. He should have been ready to go. When it was 19-0 after that touchdown, they should have kicked the PAT and gone up 20-0.
Yeah.
Instead of chasing points and trying to go up 3 touchdowns.
We talked about it after the game. Like, I get what he's trying to do, but it's still a 3-possession game either way. I don't know.
Who even knows, though, if McAdamy makes that kick?
Yeah, I mean.
Makatami. Makatami. Maca-ass. That's what he is. Maca-ass. Can't even make a PAT. Missed 2 PATs.
3 in 2 weeks.
3 in 2 fucking weeks. Never attempted a field goal longer than 40 yards in an NFL game. Couldn't start at Rutgers. Here's the New York Giants job. I don't really know what else, like.
Evans hits a nail on the head. No excuses they have. They've blown the kicker position specifically multiple times over and over again, and just, like, there's so many things. Like, if they just did one thing better, like, there's like 10 different instances or more that they would have won the game if they just cleaned up one thing. One of the mistakes they made.
I just despite the fact that they might have gotten the quarterback right, I still don't have confidence that Joe Shane and Brian Dable, who I like Brian Dable. I don't know how good of a football coach he is, but he did just just he put a rookie quarterback in his fourth game in the NFL on the road, down the starting center, down the star receiver, down wide receiver 2, and went up and put 32 points up against the best defense in the NFL. That has to stand for something. But he also deserves blame for the way the New York Giants lost that game. And there's so many different ways. And I guess what I'm trying to say is even though they might have gotten the quarterback right, which I believe that they have, Jaxson Dart is good enough to where he doesn't have to be coached by Brian Dable. That's where I'm at right now. Brian Dable isn't making Jaxson Dart. Brian Dable doesn't have Jaxson Dart doing all the things he's doing in the pocket to evade the pressure, create behind the line, throw the ball. Is he putting him in a position to be successful? Yes. Is he doing a good job coaching the rookie quarterback? Yes. Do you think, Andrew Connell, that Joe Shane and Brian Dable can win an NFL Super Bowl as the brain trust of your organization?
Really hard to say that right now. I mean, like, the Giants do have a lot of good players on their roster. This regime brought some of them in, not all of them. A lot of guys are holdovers from the previous regime. But it's tough. If they're losing games like the way they are now, I mean, it's only going to be harder, more pressure-packed, and magnified in potential playoff games that if they were to even get there. So I can't say this is a Super Bowl winning tandem. And then now we're in this catch-22 where it's like, do you let them go? But now they drafted Dart, and then you've got them kind of the mismanaged or the mismatched GM head coach quarterback. But I think with the way he's played, anyone would be happy to have Jaxson Dart.
Look at Mike Vrabel and Drake May in year 2.
Yeah.
Vrabel wasn't a part of that team that drafted him.
That's true. The Giants' job, should it open up hypothetically, would be attractive for the chance for someone to come and work with Jaxson Dart.
And I want Dable to be the guy. I think I've been pretty consistent on that this year. Last year I wanted to fire everybody because it was an easy reset button. And I said last year, you got to give him 1 year with the group. And I get it. And I still do believe that. And I don't think Brian Dable should be fired for his performance as the coach this year. But that just leads me into the next thing of, do I think he is a franchise-saving, Super Bowl-winning head coach? And if the answer to that is no, then you just move on.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just where I'm at, because Jaxson Dart is good enough to play quarterback well enough with any head coach, it looks like, at this point.
If you're not working towards a Super Bowl, what are you doing as an organization? You're working towards a goal. That should be the goal for every organization, no matter how far away you may be from it. If you're not working towards that, what are you doing?
I have no confidence that Joe Shane can put together a Super Bowl winning roster and manage a Super Bowl winning roster. I have no confidence in that. So there we are on that. B. Ram says, I have to disagree, Marshall. I blame the kicker. Missed 2 50-yard field goals in the win. No. But yeah, I think we're all blaming the kicker for missing the PATs. But I'm also
it's not just on one person. He plays a large part in that, but it's an organizational thing.
Yeah. Obviously, the kicker should make the kicks. The bigger problem is that he's on the roster. Like, no shit. Jude McAtamey should make 2 PATs. Respectfully. No shit. But why is he on the team if he can't make 2 PATs, let alone 3 in 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's not like he's not trying to make them. He's trying his best. He's doing his best, and it's okay if his best is not good enough. That's just the reality. But it's on the GM, the coach, to evaluate that talent and make that decision. If they can't see that a guy who can't make extra points isn't good enough to kick, that's a major problem.
Yeah, like, obviously the kicker is to blame. But that's really low-hanging fruit for me. I'm going to go at the bigger problem. And the bigger problem is that Joe Shane, once again, mismanaged the kicker situation yet again. And just like Shane Bowen botched and mismanaged the end of the game again. It's the same cycle. It's the same song. It's the same dance. The dates just change. The Giants don't make the smart moves. Giants don't learn from their mistakes. A fool is someone who doesn't get anything out of a loss. A fool is someone that doesn't learn from their mistakes. Shane Bowen has not learned. He said, I wish we played tighter coverage. I don't think they played tighter coverage. Did they? No. Joe Shane has lost 4 games because of mismanagement of the kicker position. 3 for Graham Gano and 1 for Jude, whatever the hell your last name is. Unbelievable.
Hitting on Shane Bowen. Nathan says at this point, just let Burns call the defense from the field. I can't imagine it be any worse than Bowen.
I mean, for Brian Burns to essentially he called him out without.
I mean,
he called him out in the most
without
professional leadership type of way.
He didn't say his name. And
if your best player, Brian Burns, who is the Giants' best player on defense, Andrew Thomas, their best player on offense, if your best player doesn't believe in the coach that manages that side of the ball, you're never going anywhere as a team. You're not. And it's not just him, guys. Go watch the Dexter Lawrence interview. Jordan Renan asked him a question about, would you like to bring pressure in a situation like that? Well, one, Dexter Lawrence wasn't on the field. You're number 97. The heartbeat of this team, the face of this organization on defense past 5 years, wasn't even on the field on first down with 33 seconds left to win the game with the Broncos backed up at their own 22. He was asked if you thought you should have brought pressure. He gave Jordan on a death stare for 10 seconds before he said, I'll leave that up to the coaches. AKA, no, our coach is an idiot. No one believes in Shane Bowen. No one likes Shane Bowen. Brian Dable yelled at him at the sideline yesterday. But he's back. He's back. And I can promise you this. You will lose another game like you have twice already this year until you move on from Shane Bowen. There will be another game you lose like that. Because that's who he is. That's how he wants to coach, and that's how he believes defense should be played when the game's on the line and time's running out. So, yeah, can't get much worse. Can't.
So we've concluded that Shane Bowen has lost the locker room and the defensive side of the ball, but Michael Elliott wants to know, or he says that I'm willing to bet that Dable has lost the defensive side of that locker room after not firing Shane Bowen. I don't know.
That's tough to say.
They might be smart enough to know that it's not his call.
And Brian Burns, go watch his post-game interview. He said people are going to be talking about, oh, Dabes did this, Dabes' fault. No, it's the player's fault. Look, maybe. I don't think that's a 0%er. I don't think that's a 0% chance. But Brian Dable could also look at them and say, hey, you have 33 points in the fourth quarter. It wasn't all because of Shane Bowen. Was Shane Bowen the nail in the coffin? Yeah. But players weren't good enough either. Everyone gets a piece. It was a pizza party of blame pie yesterday. Everyone gets a piece of the blame pie.
Bam Bam, $5 super chat, thank you. Bowen has got to go, agreed, but wasn't he signed as a third or fourth option? Are good defensive coordinators knocking at our door?
Dre Greenlaw, linebacker for the Broncos, suspended 1 game without pay.
Just came back.
After Greenlaw chased after referee Brad Allen and verbally threatened him as he tried to leave the field.
Really?
Okay. All right. Bam Bam, what up? Bowen has got to go, agreed, but wasn't he signed as the third or fourth option? Our good defensive coordinators knocking at the door. Yeah, that was a storyline of the defensive coordinator search that Giants kept on getting their job turned down, and other coordinators were taking jobs elsewhere, which gives you even more reason to fire him. Wasn't choice one, wasn't choice two, wasn't at the top of your list, wasn't who you wanted. And he's proven you right, essentially, for not being at the top of your list. So cut bait. Move on. Do what's best for your team. Do what's best for your players. Our good defensive coordinators knocking at the door. Well, you're not going to hire an external defensive coordinator at this point. You could roll with Andre Patterson as your DC. He's never been an acting defensive coordinator in the NFL. He was the assistant head coach and defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings under Mike Zimmer, but that was a Zimmer-led defense. Very similar to Shane Bowen being the defense coordinator for the Titans with Mike Vrabel. Or you can go with Marquand Manuel, your defensive back coach, where all of your defensive backs have regressed, except for Cordell Flott.
And they never turn their head around.
Ridiculous. I don't know. There was a lot of good defensive coordinators this offseason. There was. We did defensive coordinator videos on the channel last year. Let me see if I did. I don't know if I did. I thought I did defensive coordinator. Replacements or candidates at one point. I can't find the video, but there was a lot of good ones. Giants didn't make their move. They ran it back. They ran it back with good old Shane Bowen. Awesome. Kenny, what's up, man? Have the Giants cut our kicker? No. Elevated Young Ho? No. No. Brian Dable said he's going to evaluate the kicker spot this week. The guy that they worked out with Younghoe Koo when they decided to sign Younghoe Koo is 6 for 6 as the Packers kicker and made a 61-yarder yesterday. So the Giants, yet again, made the right call on the kicker.
That would be nice to have right about now. Instead of cutting bait with kickers, Max Sussman, $5 super chat, Time to cut bait with this regime. Got to believe between the D-line, Jackson, Cam, and Leak, this is a desirable job for any GM and head coach.
I think so. I think any job where you have a young rookie quarterback you believe in is going to be attractive. I agree. I do think this will be an attractive job. I don't know if they'll fire anyone. I don't really know if they should fire Brian Dable. You're not going to keep Dable and fire Shane. Probably not fire, and by Shane I mean Joe Shane. Hard to fire Joe Shane when you found the franchise quarterback. Even though in the clip that we all saw inside the draft room, he said, "You've got a lot of confidence in this guy." Not we. Looked at Brian Dable and said, "You've got a lot of confidence in him." We all saw the clip. It's on Giants' YouTube page. Brian Dable wanted to pick Jaxson Dart number 3 overall. Joe Shane was a Shador guy. But he'll get the credit. He'll get the credit.
And not that – let's talk about this not from a perspective of new GM, but just as the Giants roster as a whole. It's some of the most important positions in football. Hopefully you've got long-term keepers. Quarterback, wide receiver, playmaker, franchise left tackle, edge rusher. I would say other than corner, they've got pretty much all their weaknesses are all at theoretically less valued positions as far if you're going to go by salary and high draft picks. Even though they got the running back, it's more linebacker, I would say safety. So, the roster is not bad. They are not I would say, what are they, 2-4?
2-5.
2-5. And they are not a 2-5 roster.
They're a 2-5 front office.
Yeah.
2-5 coaching staff. You are what your record says you are, and the record says you suck. So you're slotted to pick 8th in the NFL draft if it was tomorrow. That means you suck. Master of Coins, so let's hire Rex for DC. For what? For what? Appreciate you supporting the channel. If it was meant to be a joke, I'm not in the best mood to laugh, but I'm good on Rex Ryan being the Giants' defensive coordinator. I don't know if you feel differently.
Garcia's Tattoo Studio. I was at Mile High yesterday. First time seeing New York Giants live. I was the only fan in my row. I was loud and proud for the Giants, but man, that ending had me sick.
I couldn't even imagine being at that game. Could not even imagine being at that game.
I've been at 2 bad losses in the last 3 seasons. I was at the Commanders game last season in Washington where they, again, had a kicker issue and lost on a last-second field goal. And I was at the Jet-Giant game the last time it was played with a lot of Jet fans. And that was another game where it looked like they were going to win. You thought they had it. And then the defense gave up another late field goal to win. So it's not even a this season thing. There's like you said, a multi-season trend popping up where the Giants keep doing the same thing. But I don't think either of those would have been as bad as the one yesterday, and those were still pretty brutal.
That's the type of game that makes you never want to go to another one again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the worst Giants loss I have witnessed as the host of this channel since the 2022 season. The Eagles' playoff loss was brutal, but that was just an ass-kicking from Jump Street. The 40-0 game to the Cowboys was an ass-kicking from Jump Street. The opener versus the Minnesota Vikings last year, that one sucked. This one and the Cowboys are at the top of the list. You thought you won the game. You did win the game. You did win it. And you lost it. You blew it. Yesterday, and the Knicks losing game 1 to the Pacers. The two toughest games I've had to cover. Not fun. But being at that game, paying your hard-earned money to go and watch it, they giving you hope in the way that they did, and then they just slap you in the face. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, GTS. You deserve better, bro.
Ty Dubs, this loss hurts so bad. I'm beyond pissed. Bone needs to go. If Dable can't get his head out of his ass, gone. Kicker was also a clown. I could do better. SMH. Yeah,
this is a tough one, man. This is a gut punch. This is one where people are going to stop watching, which sucks, because there was more momentum behind this team this past week than there has in a decade. I'd say even more so in the playoff year. I think everyone with a pulse and anyone that has a working brain knows that Shane Bowen does not deserve. He has coached his way out of a job, and the Giants continue to give him a paycheck. If Dable can't get his head out of his ass, got to be gone. Look, I know there's a lot of people that are upset with Brian Dable. I don't really understand how you could put yesterday on Brian Dable. If you want to say it's because he employed Shane Bowen for macro reasons, sure. If you want to say it's because he didn't protest Jude McAdamy being the kicker, sure. If it's because you thought that he was too conservative down the stretch, well, he threw the ball on 3rd down with 5 minutes left. If it's because he threw the ball with 5 minutes left, what's more important, Andrew Connell? And maybe not what's more important. What is the goal of this season?
Yeah, we've talked about it over and over again. We'll reference it again in the segment we're going to do later on in the show, but this season is and was always about developing Jaxson Dart once the minute he stepped onto the field. Preseason there was, maybe they can make a run at the playoffs and, they're good enough, so good that Jaxson Dart doesn't have to play, doesn't have to get on the field. Since he stepped on the field, the number one goal for the Giants has been developing him, getting him better, getting him the game reps, situational reps. And,
So what are you supposed to do? Take the ball out of his hands on 3rd and 5 and hand the ball off and just punt it back to him? Or how about you give him a learning opportunity, a chance to go and win the game, a chance to show that he's there, and an opportunity to fail? And he did fail. And you know what? He'll be better for it for the rest of his career because of that mistake.
Yeah, and I mean, I think at the core of this also is just Daboll believes in him. Like, he wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm going to do this and he's going to fail and he's going to get better from it. He thinks, I'm going to call this play, he's going to hit it, and we're going to go, and we're going to win the game. I really believe that Brian Daboll has 110% confidence in Jaxson Dart.
I have no problem with the Giants calling a pass play on 3rd and 5 there yesterday. None.
Yeah, that's playing to, which we talk about all the time. That's playing to win and not playing to not lose.
You know what the outrage is? It's outrage on results. And that's why in life you should always look through a lens of process over results. Because you know what would happen if Jaxson Dart would have picked up that first down and the Giants marched out that clock? Hell of a call by Brian Daboll to go for it there. Mm-hmm. But it didn't work. So then you can jump on the other side of the fence and say, well, it didn't work. Oh, idiot. You gave the ball to your rookie quarterback to throw the ball away. Process over results. Did anyone have a problem with the Giants last week running the ball, run, pass against the Eagles when they ran the clock out? The answer is no. You know why? Because it worked. Don't base your emotions off of results. Look at the process. Look at the path you traveled. That's how I think you should operate in life. But I'm just a guy on YouTube that talks about the Giants, so it is what it is. You're going to think whatever you want. You're allowed to. You're able to. I love that he put the ball in the hands of his rookie quarterback. Does it suck? Is it a kick in the gut that he threw a pick? Yeah, it absolutely is. But you know what? That defense wasn't stopping a nosebleed yesterday in the 4th quarter. You could have punted that ball back to them, and they probably would have drove down the field just like they did when there was 33 seconds left, ball on the 22, 55 yards in 2 plays. You played to win the game, and you got bit in the butt by a rookie mistake. Now, hopefully, your rookie quarterback is better for it, learn from that mistake, never does that again, and it wins you a game in 2 years in the playoffs because of it. Because in that same situation, 3rd and 5, throws the ball, completion, first down Giants, we win. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. The Big Moo, what's up, man? A team worth $10 billion can't have a kicker. It's insane. It is insane. And we know what's crazy is, like, I don't think the Giants are going back to Graham Gano because I don't think he can because he just showed he's not trustworthy. But that also means the Giants were okay with running the rest of the season with a kicker that's unable to attempt a 57-yarder. So you were going to play 15 games this year with a kicker who can't kick a 55-yarder. That was the consensus decision you came up with in the war room where Joe Shane has everything on an LED screen. That was the decision we came up with? We're okay with the kicker that can't even attempt a 55-yarder, let alone make a PAT.
Yeah, that $10 billion number, the Big Move puts in perspective. Like, imagine a company worth $10 billion at a position as important as kicker is to a football team has a guy who can't do their job.
We don't have a security guard?
It would never happen.
We're a bank. We don't have a lock on the safe?
Oh, God.
Unreal. Appreciate the love, Big Moo, as always. Michael, back again. What's up, bro? Thank you again for the support, man. I thought they should have moved on from Daboll and hired Vrabel. Been a big man. Yeah, Vrabel was number 1 on my Brian Daboll replacements list. I did a dream off-season video, and Vrabel was the head coach. And now he's crushing it with the New England Patriots. Shocker. He's also got the quarterback, though. Hopefully we got that guy. Corey Hurd, my man, can we call Rodrigo Blankenship? He's probably better than what you got.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Hot Rod as well, but again, it's the same thing. Like, if he was that good, would he have a job in the NFL? I don't know. You would think. Like, kickers are hard to – good, reliable kickers are hard to find, as we've seen. And he's also not employed, so who knows. But
he's at least 58 of 54 on extra points in his career.
Yeah, if he can hit extra points, it would be an upgrade. So
He is 15 of 15 on kicks, 20 to 29 yards. He is 15 of 17 on kicks from 30 to 39 yards. And he's 15 of 19 on kicks of 40 to 49 yards. And he's 2 of 5 on 50-plussers.
and that doesn't sound too bad.
He has an extra point percentage of 93.1. Jude McAdamy is what? He's
At least
missed
2 of 4 yesterday.
2 of 4 yesterday, and he missed 1. He's missed 3 in the last 2 games. He's just not an NFL kicker, and he's the kicker for the New York Giants. It's unreal. Kenny, what up, man? To be honest, I think Dable is the only one who deserves to keep his job. Dable went to bat for Dart, coached him well. That's enough for me and Dable. I mean, yeah, you make good points. Why'd you hire Brian Dable? To identify the quarterback. To put a plan to get the quarterback. And to develop the quarterback. That's why you hired Brian Dable 5 years ago. He's doing it now. But there's also a lot of other holes in his armor. Doesn't know how to build a coaching staff. Doesn't know how to manage a game day roster. Extremely emotional. Extreme knee-jerk reactions. Runs into the medical tent. I mean, I like Brian Dable. I want him to be the head coach of this team. I want him and Jaxson Dart to work. But I'm also at the point where I think Jaxson Dart's so freaking good, he could be good with any head coach that has half a brain. I don't know.
Yeah, more goes into being the head coach of a football team than just the offense and just the quarterback. And obviously, that's common in the NFL. That's a lot of teams look to get that quarterback, that offensive-minded coach. But those guys, the successful ones at least, either still know enough or are able to help enough or get the defensive side of the ball straightened out enough, or they hire people around them who they can trust to handle those situations. Clearly, the Giants don't have that right now.
Appreciate you, Kenny. I mean, I think the outrage of blaming the game on Brian Dable yesterday is crazy. If you want to blame him for macro reasons, sure. That game's not on Brian Dable yesterday. It's not. You want to say it's on Dable because he hired Bowen? Sure. But that seems kind of weak, in my opinion, to say that.
Severino,
Luis.
This is 85% on Bowen. He needs to be replaced by Antonio Pierce. The people got to speak up.
I'm just going to agree to disagree on Antonio Pierce. Nothing in Antonio Pierce's coaching career would suggest he's a good defensive coordinator. He's never done it. Ever. Nah, I don't even think he did it at Arizona State. I think he was a linebacker coach there. I like a guy that's been there, done that. Been there, done that at a high level. Safe. Not clicks. Not a clicky hire. Not a PR hire. Someone that's going to come in and get the most out of your defense. Not a failed head coach that got the job because he was born to be a Raider and wore black Air Forces and smoked cigars in the locker room and yelled Raiders. And I love Antonio Pierce. One of the best playoff players and one of the best playoff tackles I've ever seen against the Green Bay Packers. Not an NFL coach. He's not. He's a child. He's immature. I promise. We have a really big Raiders channel here. They've got a lot of connections to the Raiders. It was embarrassing the things that Antonio Pierce was doing last year behind closed doors. And that's all I can really say on that. My man, Baldasac. Appreciate the love as always. I wish there was a world where we fire the GM and Bowen and keep Dable. If you fire Shane, you got to fire Dable. Because if you're going to pigeonhole your GM search to keep your head coach, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Then why are you even firing the GM?
Yeah, that rarely works. The mismatch parts situation.
I want a GM that gets the head coach he wants. And
like you may dissuade some potential good GM candidates from coming
100%.
if they can't choose their own coach.
100%. WDs. What up? Hey, Marsh. A few months ago, you made Avid. You made a vid where you grade our draft picks. I don't know if you're going to make a separate video, but the Dart grade was a B and the Alexander grade was an A. How would you regrade them? I would say TBD on Darius Alexander. I mean, it's been 7 games into his NFL career. And through 7 games, yeah, Jaxson Dart's looking like an A+. So, yeah, that's where I'm at on the regrade. Incomplete on Darius Alexander.
I think he might have had a deflection or a nice play yesterday.
Yeah, he did. He did. I think I gave Dart a B+. Either way, he has, and I'll say it later, he has outperformed everyone's grades. No, it was, B for Jaxson Dart. Yeah, A+. A+ at this point. Appreciate the love, bro. Thank you for supporting the channel.
Oh, man. G-Men 26. What did I miss? Why are we using this shitty kicker?
It's a $1 million question. It only takes $1 to answer, though. Joe Shane, baby. Joe Shane.
Appreciate you, G-Men. Thanks for the support.
Thanks for the love, bro.
Ball to sack back again. I don't think
Dable likes Bowen.
Oh.
Allis is the GM. I could see it. I mean, Deontay Banks was playing because Joe Shane was making him play Deontay Banks. Everybody knows that. You shouldn't have your GM choosing who plays. You could pick the players. It should be the coach's job to choose who plays. It should be the coach's job to build the staff. Yeah. Dubs, what up, man?
Dable play calling is suspect as F. His tenure as Giants head coach, we are 20-37 with him at the helm. In my opinion, he's not the guy.
Look, anyone that feels that way, I think there is a lot of evidence to back up that claim. A lot. He has made a better case that he's not the guy than he is the guy. That's for sure. I think 32 points against Denver, 34 points against the Eagles.
Yeah.
And what was it against the Chargers in the 20s?
I think 22 maybe.
Do you think he deserves credit for that?
Yeah, I think he has a large part in the offense and what they do offensively, and I think Mike Kafka deserves some credit as well.
What about the decision to go to Jaxson Dart after 3 games from Russell Wilson?
Yeah, I mean,
whose decision was that?
Brian Dable put that all on himself. He was ready to die on that hill. So, and I'll say this, the NFL, sports in general, are a lot of a what have you done for me lately league. So, an industry. So, if he looks good this year with Jaxson Dart and Giants can hopefully pick up a few more wins, they're not going to care about that. Like they were saying fire him last year and he was coach of the year 2 years before that. So it's really a what have you done for me lately business. You look across, and this is a little bit NBA, but I think there was this so many 5 straight coaches of the year had been fired. So you can't really back up with your past results. It's going to be, they're going to look at what they're doing right now and what he's doing right now and how the team looks right now. So, but I hear you on the 20-37. That's a large sample size of not successful football.
And yeah, I agree with all that. I mean, you can make a better argument that he's not the guy than he is the guy. He was the one who got a start. He was the one who put Dart in. He was the one that helped us build an offensive game plan to beat the Eagles, to beat the Chargers, and put up 32 points on the road. No wide receiver 1, no wide receiver 2, no starting center against the Denver Broncos. I saw Kevin O'Neill says this isn't Kafka play calling. He hired Mike Kafka. He gave the play calling back to Mike Kafka. We can't have it both ways now. We can't say Brian Dable is at fault because he hired Shane Bowen when he does bad, and then not give Brian Dable credit for when Mike Kafka does good. You can't do that. That's not going to fly. And I promise you this, there's a lot of Brian Dable influence on that offensive game plan.
Yeah, I think he's probably spent a lot of time with the offensive coaches and with Jaxson Dart, and I think maybe he needs to spend a little more time with the defense and take a little bit more control of that as the head coach of the football team. And I think, I don't know this exactly, but like most recently he's been on the offense side of the ball, but he did work on the defensive side of the ball earlier in his coaching career in the NFL as well, so he's not foreign to that, and he should be able to manage that and at least recognize, hey, maybe we shouldn't play this coverage with 30 seconds left in the game.
Brian Dable is not perfect. Brian Dable has not been a great head coach. He's made a lot of right moves this last 6 months. I'd say that. Gotcha, Dart. Started Dart before anyone else wanted to. 1-2 games with Dart. Should be 3. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. I don't think anyone is wrong for believing that Brian Dable is not the guy. You're talking to a guy who did 50 videos last year saying to fire Brian Dable and to fire Joe Shane. So you don't got to convince me.
Gary is convinced that we're going to be all right because we have a QB.
And at the end of the day, if I told you the Giants went 0-17, but it was proven that Jaxson Dart's a franchise quarterback, we all would sign up for it. I don't do the moral victory things. I think they're lame. I think that it's professional sports. It's such a week-to-week league. I don't know if there's ever really any rollover, but process over results. What song would we be singing right now, Andrew Connell, if the Giants blocked that kick at the end?
Oh, and like we talked about this, I think, after the game, but like that play where they got to the 20 when they were at like the 38 or the 40 before that was so big because it made it a 50-plus yard, almost 60-yard kick to a now 38-yard field goal, I think was the game winner or around there. If he has a further kick, number one, it's harder, obviously. Number two, he's got to kick the ball lower because he's got to drive it further, so it's a higher chance of blocking it. You're telling me they can't send Abdul Carter or someone like jumping over the line and try and block that kick if it's a low kick?
And kind of my point of saying that is whether he made that kick or missed that kick, everything that happened.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
But when you lose and he makes the kick, all the bad gets highlighted. If he missed that kick, it's blocked, all the good gets highlighted. So I think I want to be somewhere in the middle on this, and that is maybe in agreement with Gary.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how things work. You look at the Giants last week; they were on top of the world because they beat the Eagles. In reality, Jalen Hurts missed a wide open receiver down the field. If they hit that, maybe the game changes. And even though the Giants pretty much did they left him open, he was open, and they didn't hit the pass. So, it's probably things are probably never as good as they seem, and they're probably never as bad as they seem either.
Yep.
Carlos,
what up, man? Greetings from Panama. Good thing we have a QB. Long way to go. A lot to be excited about from Jaxson Dart yesterday. Some things that he's killing himself over right now for throwing the pick. Missing Wan'Dale Robinson on that third down. Best part is he threw 4 total touchdowns yesterday on the road. No Malik Neighbors, no Darius Slayton, no John Michael Schmitz. And it's the best defense in the NFL. And he can be seriously a lot better than he was yesterday, too. That's pretty damn encouraging, at least for me. Lorenzo. His defense is done playing under Bowen. Burns crash out summed up how we all feel right now. Yeah, I agree. I think that that was the cherry on top for me to get him fired. You're being called out by the best players on this defense.
There's not really much turning back from that.
Like, you lost the locker room. You lost the trust of your captain. That I would have moved on. Birdo, if we had Wink still, we would have won. No, you wouldn't. Wink Martindale's a terrible defensive coordinator. Wink Martindale is coaching in the Big Ten and getting torched. Wink Martindale's not in the NFL. Wink Martindale wasn't in the NFL last year. If Wink Martindale was a good DC, he'd be in the NFL. That's how the NFL works. DM forever. Who the hell puts kickers on IR? Bullock was fine. Randy Bullock? Fat Randy? The guy that missed the kick to give the Giants the first win of the Brian Daboll era?
Yeah, shout out to him for that. That was legendary. He was on the Giants. I don't remember what season. He was recently on the Giants. They picked him up at some. I think maybe the last time Gano was hurt. Yeah. That's all I really got to say about that.
Corey Hurd, my man. What's up, bro? If Aaron Glenn becomes available, any interest for defensive coordinator? Yes. Head coach? No. Yeah, I'd be interested in bringing him in for defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
he's not a head coach, though. That was obvious.
Pretty good job last year with the Lions defense that was decimated by injuries. So.
And supposedly him and Dabo have a really good relationship. I'd be cool with that.
G-Men 26, we should have kept Spags.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago, my man. Well, he's going to be your head coach for the last 10-plus years. Love Spags. One of the best DCs to ever do it.
Giants legend.
Absolutely. Drips, what up, man? Do you think the chucking up throws is permanent?
I think we're talking about that last drive probably, right?
Yeah. I mean, his first time in that moment, trying to probably get it all back in one play. I think it's a great learning opportunity. I think it's a chance for Brian Dable to sit him down and say, hey, you don't got to be a hero. You don't got to score in one play. Play quarterback. Take what they give you. Do what you did all game to get us 32 points.
They had enough time where he could have done that. He could have did that.
Agreed. How about that play on 4th and 19, though? Deserves credit for that. That was first down. Ref pointing, first down. There were signs of that in college. He's not the first young quarterback that wants to play hero ball and throw the ball down the field and win it in crunch time. He won't be the last. I think with the right coaching and with the way Jaxson Dart is built, I think he'll continue to grow his game. I got confidence in him.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we've talked about before he played was how he was going to respond to things once he made mistakes. So we look at the first game they won, then they lost against the Saints. How did he respond to that? Come back and beat the Eagles. And then even within that Denver game, throws the interception, back-breaking interception. How does he respond? Comes back and, wasn't perfect, but does eventually lead the game-winning drive, stretches out and scores that touchdown. That was a hell of a play. So we've seen him now a couple times within games and from week to week kind of respond to the mistakes and the quote-unquote failures, if you want to say, that he's had. So from that perspective, it's encouraging that hopefully he'll bounce back from this performance as a whole in the next game and for the rest of the season in his career, hopefully. JC, $2 super chat. Appreciate you. He says, fire Bowen, hire Leslie Frazier, Dart Rookie of the Year.
Hire Leslie Frazier midseason or in the offseason? I don't think you're making an external hire right now. I don't even think that's possible. Not literally possible, but like.
No team does that.
Yeah, and you're going to have him come in and install a new scheme in 5 days before a game. It's been a long time since Leslie Frazier was a DC. They do have some connection dating back to Buffalo. Bar's low. So, yeah. Dart Rookie of the Year, he's playing like it. Deserves a lot of credit. Appreciate you, JC.
Chislow, DC candidates for next year after Bowen is gone.
I don't even know who's going to be available, my man. Tough for me to say so. But yeah, it's who are the head coaches that got fired that are defensive coaches? Who are the defensive coordinators that are willing to leave? It's too hard to say right now.
Or you poach someone from a good defense, potentially a position coach or something. Who knows?
Appreciate the super chat. I just can't give you a thoughtful enough answer right now, and I'm not gonna dance around and pitter patter up here.
Philosopher E, $5 super chat. Appreciate you. He says, we ride and stand with Dart, win, lose, or draw. But on the real, Marshall, you know him. And I'm not sure what that is, but Scat is about to run the table.
We ride and stand with Dart, win or lose or draw. But on the real, Marshall, you know him. Yeah, look, Scattaboo and Dart, man, they look good. I thought Scattaboo probably should have been featured a little bit more yesterday. And, like, probably unfair to say, but, like, some of those 2-3 yard runs that Tyrone Tracy had, Scattaboo turns those into 6. Scattaboo turns those into 7. And I think there's something to Scattaboo playing all game, wearing a defense down and tiring them out and things of that sort. So,
Chat is saying Tyler Lockett just got released from the Titans.
Who?
Tyler Lockett.
Oh, nice. Why would we sign him?
Yeah. I mean, if you're not good enough to play for Tennessee, it should say something about you. Michael Pinto, $20 super chat. Appreciate all the support today, man. Means a lot. He says, I don't know what the coaching staff will look like in the future, but if the OC spot opens up, I would love Mike McDaniel. If he gets fired, he should. When Tua was rolling, that Miami offense was lethal before Tua started to decline.
Mike McDaniel for OC. I think he could be a good OC down the line. I like the way our OC is going, though. I like the way Mike Kafka's working with Brian Dable, working with Jaxson Dart. The offense is not the issue right now. It's not. Offense is not the issue right now. So, yeah, maybe you go out this offseason if you hire a defensive-minded head coach and you want an offensive coordinator like Mike McDaniel who could be here long-term and not be a head coach candidate going forward. Sure, I'm cool with that. But I like the job Mike Kafka's doing, and I like the job Brian Dable's doing right now with the offense. So it's kind of where I'm at. It's kind of where I'm at on that.
We got a super chat coming in from Gary. We're going to get that on as soon as that comes through. Then we are all caught up on super chats.
What up, Gary? Can we stay competitive the rest of the season? I think so. Why not? You were just competitive with the Broncos. You beat the Eagles. You beat the Chargers. You were competitive with Dallas. You've been competitive in every game. 14-6 week 1 against the Commanders. The Chiefs game was a one-score game in the second half. Who's to say we couldn't stay competitive? Now, can we win a lot of games? I don't know, but I think this is a team that's going to be in a lot of games. I don't see this team getting blown out, really.
No, I mean, we're trying to not do the moral victory thing, and I don't think, like, it's separate from that. You can acknowledge that they've been competitive with good teams without celebrating it. The facts are the Giants they've beaten 2 good teams. Should have beaten Denver as well. So without celebrating the fact that they're competitive, you can acknowledge the fact that they should be the rest of the season. And hopefully they should only get better in theory.
So, yeah.
All right, another super chat coming in from Project Merlin.
Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate all y'all being here on Monday. It's tough. It's tough being a Giants fan today, but you know what? I appreciate every single person that has tuned in. Over 300 people watching right now. You guys are showing major love as always. That means a lot to me. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon. It would mean a lot. 19 likes away from 150. If we could get there, that would be pretty dang sweet. Pretty dang sweet. We'll answer super chats as long as you guys want. And we got a segment to hit as well. So there's that. There's that. Hit that thumbs up icon. All super chats that continue to roll in, we'll answer those. Let's start our mailbag for today's show.
Okay.
I'd say try to just prioritize the ones that you think are the best. Ones that you think are the best. We'll do that, and then we have a segment to close out the show. So, still a long way to go on the channel today. Already been live for an hour and 17 minutes. Appreciate all y'all for being here. Appreciate everybody for showing love. Wouldn't be able to do what we do if it wasn't for all of y'all. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so we will get to all of them that come in, but we are going to start repeating some as we're starting the mailbag now, guys. So any of you have super chatted, we haven't shown it yet, we will get to it, but we're going to get into the mailbag.
I'd say you probably just start full screen sub name badge, then we can roll into that. Shout out to everybody in the building. We appreciate all y'all for being here. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. About to roll into this mailbag, and then we got a segment to close out today's show. Just waiting for this picture to give me a link. I'm going to Slack it to you. If it would ever work. 268 people watching. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon. If you have, type me in the chat. I'm going to Slack it to TV. Just after this question, show that. Go full screen on that guy. Greg Congdon, what up, baby? Tiger Metal Stack. Drips, LD Root. Gary Lawrence, KG, Seth Gross, Julio. Shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, making time for the guys over here at Giants Now by Chat Sports, doing the best we can to give you the best content out there. Does that make sense? Cool. Cool. Going to Cheesehead game, says KG. Rick says, who would be the new DC? I think it would either be Andre Patterson or Marquand Manuel. Your defensive back coach or your defensive line coach would be my best guess. Looked good, I thought. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's do it. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green, and you're not going to believe what I have to say about the kicker position. I want to go to my guy, Michael Pinto, who sent in a $50 super chat on our live show. Says, I don't like to blame kickers for losses, but leaving potentially 9 points on the board is crazy. 2 missed PATs. a 2-point try that shouldn't have to be attempted, and 3 points. Punting twice from the other team's 40-yard line is just not acceptable. Cut Jude Makatami. I don't know how to say his last name. Look, I have a lot of thoughts on the kicker position. I think the most frustrating one is this. The New York Giants signed Younghoe Koo in a tryout for him to be the backup kicker who inevitably lost the kicker competition to Jude at practice. But it wasn't just Younghoe Koo at the kicker workout for the Giants. Listen to this. Lucas Havrasilk, or however you say his name, Havraseek, was signed to the Packers 8 days ago. Since then, he's been 7 out of 7 on kicks. Today, he just made a 61-yard field goal to set a franchise record. That was on Sunday. Then Dan Duggan saying Havraseek was the only other kicker the Giants worked out when they signed Younghoe Koo. So, as we can go back to Michael's super chat here, not only did you sign Younghoe Koo to not play, you signed the wrong kicker. The other kicker you worked out is 7 of 7 and is hitting 61-yard field goals. So you couldn't even choose the right kicker. So not only did you choose the wrong kicker, you also didn't even play the kicker that you signed. You rolled with the International Player Pathway Program kicker. The worst part is the Giants thought it was okay to roll with Jude for the remainder of the season. A guy that has never attempted a kick longer than 40 yards. A guy that you don't trust to attempt a 57-yarder. So Joe Schoen and Brian Dable came to the decision that we don't need 57-yard field goals the rest of the season. In an era where kicking field goals is being done at a higher clip from further and further and further away, the New York Giants employ a kicker who's never made one past 40 yards. That was the backup at Rutgers and couldn't attempt a 47-yarder. You punted from the 41-yard line yesterday on Sunday. You punted from the 42-yard line on Sunday. You're playing with the hand behind your back because you don't have a GM that prioritizes the kicker position, and you have a GM that we know at this point can't evaluate talent. Should Jude have made those kicks? Absolutely. It's not his fault that he's on the team, though. It's his fault he's not good enough. It's not his fault he was in position. Never should have been in position to make those kicks or even take those kicks because he's not an NFL kicker. He's not qualified. Joe Schoen, maybe Brian Dable. I don't know whose full decision it is to have Jude on the team kicking the kicks, but that is the bigger problem. They will probably move on from him. Brian Dable said at his Monday morning press conference that he's going to evaluate the kicker position. Well, the guy that you didn't sign is 7 of 7 for field goals with the Green Bay Packers. And he hit 61 yarders. 61 yarders, the guy you worked out and didn't sign. And we have a kicker who can't even make PATs. The dysfunction is so strong through the New York Giants front office. Unreal. Who gets the most loss or who gets the most blame for the Giants' loss to Denver? Sound off for me. Max Sussman, what up, man? Time to cut bait with this regime. Got to believe between the D-line, Jackson, Cam, and Leak, this is a desirable job for any GM and head coach. Yeah, they've got some players at some big-time positions, and you might just have a franchise quarterback. So that's always exciting. I don't know if they're going to fire Joe Schoen. I don't know if they're going to fire Brian Dable. I mean, if they got their franchise quarterback this year, why would they move on from him? That was the goal of the season, to find your franchise quarterback. Do I think Brian Dable has put together a good enough resume to say he can be a Super Bowl winning head coach? No, I don't think that. Do I think that Joe Shane can be a Super Bowl winning GM? No, I do not think that. Do I think Brian Dable has the ability to maybe be that one day? Yeah, I don't think Joe Shane ever does. He's made too many bad decisions. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know if they make changes. If they do have some players, and I do think it could be a desirable spot. But I don't even know if we're going to get there at this point. We'll get to more questions coming up in a second, but I got to let you guys know that Prize Picks is back on New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, and they've got an awesome new promo deal going on for the real ones. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you could pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns, now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. Follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app. This is also new. And copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity, a partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in new feed tabs on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is easy. It's simple to play. You create a lineup of 2 to 6 players. You simply pick more or less on their projected stat line. The more players you have in your lineup, the higher the payout is going to be. You and I make decisions every single day, but with Prize Picks, it pays to be right. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Kenny, what's up, man? Appreciate the love. Says, to be honest, I think Dable is the only one who deserves to keep his job. Dable went to bat for Dart, coached him well. That's enough for me and Dable. And look, I understand there's some people who say fire Dable and some people that keep him. I'm not really placing all that much blame on Brian Dable for the Denver Broncos loss. If you want to go macro problem and say Dable's to blame because he hired Shane Bowen, sure. That's pretty lame to me. I thought Dable coached a hell of a game. I thought Dable put his offense in position to have success. You put up 32 points, 5 touchdowns. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns against the Denver Broncos, a team that was the number 1 defense in the National Football League. You do that on the road, no Neighbors, no Slayton, no John Michael Schmitz, with a rookie quarterback and his 4th start ever. I don't really have any bad words to say about Brian Dable coming out of that Denver Broncos game. Now, has he put together a resume that says he's done a great job? No. Are there more pieces on the bulletin board that say he's a bad coach than a good coach? Yes. But he's at the bottom of the list for me when it comes to firing. He's at the bottom of the list for me when it comes to reasons you lost that game against Denver. But there's been other games you have lost because of him. But at the end of the day, he wanted Jaxson Dart. He got Jaxson Dart. He's developing Dart, and he's putting Dart in position to win. I like it. Carlos, greetings from Panama. Good thing we have a quarterback. He looks good. He does look good, and it's exciting. And he is showing that he has the potential, the skill set to be a franchise quarterback. And if that's what you were looking for out of this season, you might just get your answers on that. Drips, do you think the chucking up throws is permanent? I hope not. I don't necessarily think it is. First time, trying to put together a game-winning drive. A lot of pressure from the pass rush as well. He did that a little bit in college as well. You go back to the Florida game. He did it as well against LSU, was able to win that game. Jaxson Dart is a player where he is ultra competitive, and I love the shit out of him for that. But we don't need hero ball. We don't need Hail Marys. You're a good enough quarterback to beat him playing quarterback and throwing the ball all over the field and checking it down and getting the guy that's open and just moving the sticks and playing the position. You don't need to get it all back in one play. That'll come. 4th game ever. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. Gary Lawrence, what up, man? Can we stay competitive the rest of the season? Yeah, I think this team has too many leaders, has too many people that are willing to do whatever it takes to win. Now, when you say competitive, do you mean win a lot of games? I don't know about all that. I think they're going to compete in a lot of games, though. I don't think this team's going to get blown out very often. Haven't been blown out one time this year. They've really been in every game in the second half. They just haven't been able to punch the right buttons down the stretch. Cough, cough, employ Shane Bowen. But, yeah, I think they're going to be able to compete in a lot of games this year. Schedule's tough. How many wins they get, I don't know. But I like the competitive spirit that this team is starting to build. If you still bleed Giants blue, you still love this football team, hit that thumbs up icon for me down in the comment section right now. And make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. All right, let's jump into this last segment here. Do we have any super chats that
We had the one that came in right before, and then one more just came in. So if we want to,
let's roll through those, and then we'll roll to our last segment of today's show.
All right, this one came in beforehand, and there's one that just came in that has.
What up, bro? Appreciate the love, man. Project Merlin, I believe is how you say it. So Scadaboo didn't look right yesterday. Even after the TD, he kind of just flipped it and walked off uncharacteristically. Very strange. I didn't really notice that. I didn't really notice that when I watched it back. I'll have to go watch it again, and I'll get back to you.
Definitely unlike him to not celebrate, at least what we've seen through the first beginning part of the season.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's upset that he's having to give some carries to Tyrone Tracy. I don't know, though. I don't know. I'll see if I can figure anything out on that one. I thought they didn't use him enough yesterday. I think playing Cam Scadaboo just sets more of a tone, sends more of a message, and can tire out a defense a little bit more. I think some of those 2-yard runs Tyrone Tracy had, Scadaboo could have popped for 6 or 7. So, I don't know. Formula Red, appreciate the love, my man. Do you think Dable isn't firing Bowen simply because he doesn't have anyone else, or is he trying to be patient? I'm just trying to understand the logic because Bowen should have been gone. Trying to understand the logic with the New York Giants will make you go crazy. I try to do it every day. I don't know what any good reason would be. Maybe he doesn't think anyone else could do the job on the current staff. I don't know. Maybe he's not allowed to make the decision. I don't know. Maybe he wants to keep him as a part of the staff. That way, at the end of the year, he can go to John Mara and say, look, we did our part as an offense. We developed Jaxson Dart, but Shane Bowen cost us multiple games this year. You have to bring me back next year with a new defensive coordinator. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I wish I had a better answer for you, but I'm trying to figure it out as well because I can't come up with any reason why Shane Bowen should still be employed today. That's for sure. That is for sure, my friend. All righty. Last segment of today's show. We're talking Jaxson Dart. I'm not someone that necessarily believes in moral victories, but I'm trying to bring some positivity to the New York Football Giants. You ready? Can I be a simp real quick? Because I want to talk about how good Jaxson Dart looked against the Denver Broncos and how that game showed me that Jaxson Dart could be a franchise quarterback. If you are happy, though, that Jaxson Dart is your quarterback, the signal caller for the New York Football Giants, hit that thumbs up icon for me, and let's dive into today's video. This is New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for clicking on today's show. I don't believe in moral victories in professional sports, especially the National Football League, considering it is such a week-to-week league and there's not really carryover every single week. And I truly do believe that. And I don't like doing the, but. But Jaxson Dart is the real deal. What he did against the Denver Broncos should not be taken lightly. He walks into Denver and puts on a clinic of how to stand in the pocket, face pressure, deliver the ball on time, on target, makes plays with his legs, and he did it against the best defense in the National Football League. 4 total touchdowns on Sunday for Jaxson Dart. 3 big-time throws. Nearly 300 yards on 15 completions. And he did it without Malik Neighbors. He did it without Darius Slayton. He did it without John Michael Schmitz. That's a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and somehow, some way, a $36 million wide receiver. And he does it against the best defense in the National Football League. That says and means something to me. Did you win the game? No. The ultimate goal is to win the game. But what was the ultimate goal of this season? To find your franchise quarterback. And you might just have the guy on this roster. The way he played against pressure, the way that he played specifically against the blitz against Denver. 8 of 14, 24.1 yards per completion, 193 total yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 extremely silly interception. That was the 3rd most passing yards versus the blitz this year of any quarterback. We'll talk about that interception because it was stupid, and he knows that. Think about it like this. You put up 32 points against the Denver Broncos, and the only wide receiver to catch a pass was Wan'Dale Robinson. No catches for little Jordan Humphrey. No catches for Bo Collins. No catches for Jalen Hyatt. You had 3 for Belly, 3 for Theo, 3 for Theo, and 3 for Scattaboo. You put up 32 points on the road against the best defense with a quarterback in his 4th game ever as a starter where only 1 receiver caught the football. Go get him another receiver. Sick of it. The plays this kid makes, Jaxson Dart, is unreal. His ability to move in the pocket, buy time, step up, use his legs, scramble, throw strikes downfield. It's different. And that is something that is just, you're born with. It's God-given. You don't grow to be someone that can feel pressure, maneuver in the pocket, stay calm, stay nice, and deliver a strike like he did. Was this a little bit reckless? Jaxson Dart rolling right, throwing back against his body, Wan'Dale Robinson? Yes. Maybe it's not all that lucky, though. Maybe that's just what he does. Maybe he's just a playmaker. And it worked out. And it worked out. An unreal play by Jaxson Dart. And the play to Daniel Bellinger, the play that he made on that one, the pocket mobility on this one might be even better. Steps up, sidestep, step up, uses his eyes to stare down Wan'Dale Robinson on the deep over. Watch the safety. Safety comes down. You're not able to make that throw to Daniel Bellinger if Dart doesn't buy time, step up, stare down Wan'Dale Robinson, bring down the defense, bombs over the top to Daniel Bellinger. Those are big time, big boy, elite, all-pro QB type of plays. Did you lose the game? Yes. But you should have won the game. And you should have won the game because you got a damn good freaking quarterback, man. And I understand the last drive wasn't great. It wasn't. The last drive, we'll spend time talking about that. And I think it was kind of undersold a little bit. Jaxson Dart picked up that 4th and 19. I know there was a roughing the passer, or it was a face mask. I think it was a roughing passer on this one, where they got 15 more yards. What about this? He steps up in the pocket, moves to his right, throws across his body, throws a strike 19 yards down the field to Wan'Dale Robinson. He gets the first down. You see the ref right there, pointing first down. That's what good quarterbacks do. When you don't have a chance, game's over, 4th and 19, they dig you out of a hole and they move the chains. That's a big-time play by Jaxson Dart against the best defense in the National Football League. My man WBG84 on Twitter. Give him a follow. Jaxson Dart's first 4 starts, 791 passing yards, 7 TD passes, 3 interceptions, 60% completion percentage, 168 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Dart is the first quarterback in NFL history with 790-plus passing yards, 165-plus rush yards, 7-plus TDs, and 3-plus rushing touchdowns through their first 4 starts. I'd say that's pretty damn good. My guy Justin Pennick at Talking Giants, go support him, one of the best in the business, and an awesome guy. Says Jaxson Dart has taken over as the QB since week 4 to 7. 13th in EPA per play, 14th in success rate, 5th in EPA per play in the first half, 3rd in success rate in the first half, 3rd in EPA per play on 3rd down, 5th in success rate on 3rd down, 10 total touchdowns, 7 passing, 3 rushing. I'd say that's pretty good as well, as is this. EPA per play over the last 2 weeks versus the Broncos, best defense in the league, and the Super Bowl champs. He's 4th behind Pat Mahomes, Drake May, and Dak Prescott. I'd say that is pretty damn good. Hayden Winks tweeting out, quarterbacks first down rate after their first read. How often are you picking up a first down when you have to move off your first read? That's big-time quarterback shit. Number 1, Pat Mahomes. Number 2, Jaxson Dart. He's been better than we all thought he ever could be. Did you lose the game? Yes. Did he throw a stupid interception? Yes. What would be the talk of the town if the Giants blocked that kick at the end by the Broncos, or the Broncos shanked that kick? We'd all be saying what I'm saying today. The Giants have their franchise quarterback. Don't let the results of bad defensive coordinating and bad defensive plays move your eyes off the prize. Because we've got the prize. It's a franchise quarterback. That's everything all NFL teams are looking for. And if I told you prior to the season the Giants ended the year 6-11, but they found their franchise quarterback in Jaxson Dart, we all would have signed up for it. All of us. And we might just have one. Has he been perfect? No. Jaxson Dart has not been perfect. Has he been really, really good? Yes. Should we all be excited about the way he's playing football right now? Yes. Are there things he can do better? The answer to that, it makes it that much more exciting because he can. Talk about that in a second, but get his jersey. Show Jaxson Dart some love. Chatsports.com/Dart. Get his jersey today. Use that link. Chatsports.com/Dart. Can Jaxson Dart be better? 1,000%. He'll admit it, as will his biggest fans. And I'm one of them. No explanation for the interception. Never should have made that read. Never should have made that throw. If you were going to make that read, you had to make a better throw. A sack, a scramble for 5 yards is better than what happened. But you know what? I'm glad Brian Dable called a pass play there. I'm glad Brian Dable put the ball in the hands of Jaxson Dart to go and win the game. This season is about developing and finding out if Jaxson Dart's the guy. Not trying to just do whatever it takes to win. And I get that. That's what you do in the NFL. But you put the ball in the kid's hands to go and win it. And he didn't. And that's okay. And it sucks. And it hurts. And we're all upset about it. And we all should be. Especially Jaxson Dart. He knows he made a bad play. He said it yesterday. He said, I can't do that. In life, you got to go through shit. You got to be able to go through things to be better down the line for it. And I believe Jaxson Dart will be better on next Sunday and into the future because he threw that interception. Because he felt what that was like by letting his team down. Which he didn't, but I'm sure that's how he felt because he's a competitor. He feels as if he let his team down. He never wants that feeling again. And hopefully, it was an awesome teaching and development moment for Brian Daboll. Put the rookie quarterback in a spot with the ball in his hands to go and win the game. Brian Daboll trusts him. Love that. He didn't get it done. Now get it done next time. Because there's going to be another time where the game stakes are a lot more higher, where it's going to be 3rd and 5, and the ball's going to be in Dart's hands. And hopefully, which I believe he will, he'll make the play to win the game. That's why you play, to win the game. How many times have we told Brian Daboll, we want you to coach and play call to win the game? He did so. Didn't work. Boo-hoo. Cry about it. Go be right the next time. Go win the game the next time. I'm happy he called a pass play there. That's going to be huge for the development of Jaxson Dart. The last drive, despite the touchdown run, and despite the 4th and 19, which tough to say despite that because it's 4th and 19, you picked it up on the road without Neighbors, without a center, without Surtain. It was disgusting. It was gross. It was Hail Mary this way. It was Hail Mary this way. It was chuck and pray this way. Bailed out for a roughing the passer. Underthrown deep ball to Bo Collins. You miss Wan'Dale Robinson on the drive prior on 3rd down. You miss Jalen Hyatt, who, instead of running like this looking for the ball, if you run and put your head down, you might have had the ball fall in your breadbasket. The last drive was gross. But he picked up a 4th and 19, and he still scored a touchdown. I believe he'll be better going forward. He also needs to take less hits. When you hand the ball off, I don't need you getting rid of the ball to chip the edge rusher coming in on a block. I don't need you taking some of the hits that you did yesterday. I know you want to win. I love that you want to win. I love that you're a sicko and you're willing to do whatever it takes to win. I'm proud to say that you are my quarterback, Jaxson Dart. I'm going to ride with you until these wheels fall off, my man. Remember this feeling. Remember that feeling of losing that game, of throwing that interception, and turn it into fuel, and turn it into motivation, and turn the loss into a lesson, and continue to grow, and continue to get better. Because I know anyone that bleeds giant blue, they're pumped up that you're the quarterback, and you're our guy. And when you're our guy, it's you and I versus the world. We got your back. We love you, Jaxson Dart. If you're happy he's your quarterback, hit that thumbs up icon. I know you lost the game. I know there's no moral victories in sports. But you might just have your franchise quarterback. And that's the most important thing in this sport. Make sure you are following me on social media. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you haven't given me a follow, please do so at @MarshallGreen_.
I think it was cool. Honestly, like you were able to get into a lot of that, what you were planning on talking about anyway, with some of the questions that came in about like the last drive and Dart and whether or not like, and we kind of referenced his college career, which we talked about in the game yesterday. I remember vividly watching that game against Florida where he had multiple chances to win the game and kept throwing interceptions. But yeah, I mean, he looks like the guy to me, at least. So
still early. You're going to have to come back better than you were your second year. There's going to be tape on you, but it's a damn good start. It's a damn good start to what looks like a really promising career. All right, we're going to sign off on today's show. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Appreciate everybody that shows love to this channel. You guys are the best. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Brighter days are around the corner. I promise, I promise, I promise. We'll see you later. Let's go Giants.